Okay, so this is the latest uh, version. Like, for example, the pattern your latest paper will follow for P2. The formula sheet will be given to you, and this is the specimen. So let's start with the first one. They are saying calculate this over here. Yes, it's P2, right? Okay. So they're saying calculate this over here. So you can use your calculator to figure this out, right? So this will be 4 under root of this, which is 80. So because the use of calculator, let me show it to you people. Wait. Let's keep it like this so that we can do it side by side. Now, this over here, is it visible for everyone? Yes? Yes. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Uh, right. So let's start. Question number 2. This over here. Work out 40% of 530. So 40% of 530. Again, you can use your calculator for this. And this should be 53 times 4. We have 212, right? Because the zeros cancel out, we have 212. Now, this is a part of a bus timetable from New York to Raleigh, I guess that's the name. Okay. Now, we have different times, okay? Different time zones. New York, Baltimore, Washington, right? And on. So work out the journey time from New York to Petersburg. Give your answer in hours and minutes. Right? So what you can do is New York to Petersburg. Where is New York? Let me highlight it. New York and Petersburg. So over here, I can see that this time is greater than that. So I'll subtract them. Now using a calculator, again, I'm telling you, for the calculator, questions related to time become easier. Why? Because you can always use this key over here. Can you see over here, this key? Right? I'm going to draw it as well. It's like this on your calculators, right? So what you can do is 19, press the key, 19, this, can you see it? 19, this, again 40. Now this means that 19 are 40 minutes minus 9 minus 9 hours and 15 minutes. So we have 1025. That's your answer, direct. So in P1, you have to figure out how to convert the hours to minutes and stuff. Over here, you can do it directly. Now, B. So, Arjun arrives at the bus station in Washington at 1:36 p.m. Right? Wait, let me. Okay. In Washington at 1:36 p.m. Note how long he waits for the 9:15 bus from New York to arrive. Give your answer in minutes. Now, is there a lag in my voice?
No, sir.
Is there a lag in my voice, Kushi? Yes or no?
No, sir.
If you see any lag in my voice, I just do let me know. Okay. Now, over here, work out how long he waits for 9:15 bus to arrive, right? So we have New York time. Let's see there. That is how much? 9. That's New York time. And Elgin arrives at the bus station in Washington at 1:36 p.m. Okay. Now this time format is in 24 hours, and this one over here is 9:15. So he arrives at the bus station in Washington at 1:36 p.m. Right. So Washington, where is Washington? 15:30, 15:20 over here. So he arrives at 13:36. Let's convert this time to 24 hours. That makes 30:36. Okay. So the time for Washington, that was 15:20. So let's do that. 15:20 minus Arjun's time, 13:36. We have 1 hour 44 minutes. Okay. Now 1 hour 44 minutes. 1 hour 44 minutes. Give your answer in minutes. They have put a condition over there. We have to give our answer in minutes. So this is 60 minutes and this is 44 minutes. So in total, how many minutes? 104 minutes. Okay. Next, question number 4. So pens cost 53 cents each. Work out the maximum number of pens Mariam can buy with $15. Now we are dealing with cents and dollars, two different units, right? So whenever you are dealing with two different units, you can convert them into same units just to avoid the confusion. So we have $1, $1 representing 100 cents. So that means this becomes 1500 cents. Okay. So 1500 divided by 53. 1500 divided by 53. We have 28.3. Okay. Work out the maximum number of pens Mariam can buy. So it's obviously 28. She can't buy more than 28 because she can't buy a 0.3 pen, right? It should be a whole number, 28 pen. Work out the change she receives in cents. So the change she receives in cents. So if she's buying 28 pens and each pen is costing 53 cents, that is going to give us the cost, which is 1484 cents. And she had 1500. So 1500 minus this minus 1484, and we have 16. 16 cents change. Always be careful with the sign, the currency they are using, right? The units they are using. Question number 5. The table shows how a class of 30. Wait, there are students joining. Wait. सारे एक साथ क्यों नहीं join करते? Now, the table shows how a class of 30 children travel to school. The information will be shown in a pie chart. So, the number of children who walk to school will be represented by some number of degrees on the pie chart. The same goes for car, the same goes for bus. So, we have to figure out how many degrees, right? They have given us one piece of information over here. That is, the table shows how a class of 30 children travel to school. That means the total number of children are 30, and the total number of angles in a pie chart will be 360. So I have this bit of information which I can use to figure out the rest. So what I can do is I can figure out how much angle uh, will represent one child, right? So let's do that. Let's use the unitary method, right? So if 30 is representing 360 degrees, then one child will be represented by how much? How many angles? Right? So x is equal to 360 by 30. It's 12. Okay. So one child will be represented by 12 degrees. I can use this information. If one child is represented by 12 degrees, then 18 must be represented by 18 times 12, that is 216. The same goes over here. 3 times 12, 36. Okay. Then 9 times 12, we have 108. Okay. These all of these are angles, which we have to draw over here. So use a protractor to draw the angle. For those who struggle with that, let me show that. Wait, where is it? Okay. So over here, if I have to mark, the rest of you who are done with the working, they can move on. Right. So 216, what I can do is I can place the protractor like this. Okay. Place your protractor so that it is aligned with the center like this. Okay. Let me just shrink it a bit. This fine. Align the center with the center, right? And the line with this. Okay? Now I'm going to look at this red scale, okay, and mark an angle of 216. Okay? Oh, sorry, 216, the lesser one, because we have 180 degrees, 108. So 108 will be marked over here. I'm looking at this scale. So 108. This is 108. You can just draw a line with a ruler like this in the same direction. 108. The same, I can use this on this side and mark Okay, I guess it's attached to it. So you got the idea, right? The same way you are going to measure this one. Let's say this is 36, like this. And then this angle, which is greater than 180, will be representing 260. So like this. Now, just label them as well, that this much students walk, this much use a car, and this much goes by bus. Okay. Moving on to the next. Question number 6. We have the diagram shows a cuboid. Calculate the volume of the cuboid. So the volume of cuboid, as we have discussed earlier, whenever don't rely too much on the formula sheet. The formulas are limited. Let me go towards the formula sheet. If you think every formula is given over here, you are wrong about that question. Not every formula is given over here. For example, volume of hemisphere, right? The surface areas, you are just given the curved surface areas. Right? So you should have the basic knowledge of what we are going to deal with. Okay. The volume of a prism, they have mentioned it like this, cross-section area, which is also base area times height. It's the same as that. So this base area times height, the area of the base, 8 into 4, times the height, 6.5. Or you can say length into width into height. So this should be 8 into 4 into 6.5. 8 into 4 into 6.5. 205. 208. Next, Alex buys a shirt at a price of this much. Pedro buys a shirt at a price of this much. The exchange rate is given. Calculate how much more Pedro pays in Alex. And give your answer. Do not forget about this. If you do, 1 mark will be deducted. Give your answer in dollars and cents correct to the nearest cent. So the exchange rate is given £1, sorry, $1 is equal to 0.73 pounds. Now, Alex over here, for Alex, we can say that he buys a shirt at a price of this much. So how much will that be in dollars? So let's say X. So X is equal to 14.75 divided by 0.73. 20.21. And the same we can do for Pedro. That was buys a shirt at a price of 21. That is already in dollars, right? So we can just figure out the difference between them. 2 point minus 21.99. So it is 1.7845. 1 point. The difference is obviously not in negative. I just did it like that. 1.7845 dollars. But the answer they require is in dollar and correct to the nearest cent. So I would say 1.7. That's the nearest cent. 78 cents. Next, 8. So the diagram shows a hexagon. Write an equation and solve it to find the value of x. Okay, I can see the camera switched off. As I have told you people, which whenever you join the class, you have to switch on your cameras. So switch on your cameras. Just giving you the time till this question ends. Okay, question 8 ends, and I'm going to Okay, question number 8. Switch on your cameras, switch shower. The diagram shows a hexagon. Write an equation and solve it to solve the value of x. So it's a 4-mark question. Do not skip steps. Right. First of all, let's figure out what is the sum of interior angle of a hexagon. It's not a regular hexagon. So n minus 2 times 180. And over here is 6 minus 2 into 180. And we have 720. The interior angles sum up to 720. All we have to do is add them all up and put that equal to 720 and solve for x. So adding all the angles, 2x plus x minus 30 plus 100 plus 120 plus 152 plus 144. All of them should be equal to 720. Adding this, we have 3x plus this should be 144 plus 152 plus 120 plus 100 and subtract that from 30. We have 486, right? 486, 720. Now 3x is equal to 720 minus 234. Okay. It's 720 minus 486, not the other way around. So 234 divided by 3 is 78. X is 78. Moving on. Okay, the question ends. And let me see how many of you haven't switched on the cameras. Zeno, which I told you, Manur, Zara, Rehan, Rafe. Okay, Manur, Manur Zainab. Did you switch on your camera? Manur, are you there? Yes or no? Okay. One last minute for you, Manur, Rafe, which are one last minute for you. If you have a genuine reason, you have to type it over here, send a message to the post account. Otherwise, you have to switch it on. After 1 minute, I'm not going to even warn you. Okay? So, from the list, write down. Okay, attempt this one. Okay, from the list, write down a number that is a multiple of 3. A multiple of 3. So, we have 12 over here, multiple of 3. A cube number, 8 is a cube number. A prime number, 5 is a prime number. An irrational. So, you take an under root of any non-square number that is an irrational. Next, question number 10. Anna has a bag containing 10 beads. There are 4 red beads and the rest are blue. 4 red and the rest are blue. Red are 4 and there are total 10. So blue must be 6 then. Always make a list so that we can, because the probability over here is without replacement. That means the total is going to change. Why will it change? Because each time we figure out the probability of one thing, we reduce that amount. So the first bead is a red, the probability is 4 out of 10. I'm going to update this list, okay, for each branch over here, like this. I'm going to update the list. Now that one bead is out, one red bead is out, we are left with 3. So obviously the total will be affected as well, 9. So the second bead being red is 3 by 9. And the second bead being blue is 6 by. Now do not simplify it over here. You might get confused. The branches के ऊपर simplification ना करना. It can lead to much confusion. Okay. Then the probability that it will be blue is 6 by 10. Okay. And I'm going to update the list for over here as well. This will be reduce 1 from the blue, we have 5. Reduce 1 from the total, we have 9. So the probability that the second bead is a red is 4 by 9. And the probability that the second bead is a blue is 5 by 9. Okay. Calculate the probability that Anna takes 2 red beads. Zana, can you tell me what should be the probability that Anna takes 2 red beads? Miss Zana? Zana, which I'm asking you, what should be the probability?
Um,
2
2 with
yes.
10.
2 by 10. Is it 2 by 10? The first one is red. What is the probability?
2 by 9.
For the first one to be red, are you looking at the tree diagram?
Yes.
Okay. What is the probability that the first bead is a red?
4 by 10.
Yes. Where were you looking? Okay. And the second bead is also red. So
3 over 9.
3 over 9. Because they are independent of each other, or you can say the branches over here, you multiply along the branches, right? And add across the branches. Okay. This will be 12 over 90. 12 over 90. So if you want to write it in the simplest form, you can write it like that, or you can just keep it as it is, 12 over 90. Next, for the next one, question 11. So, yes, there is a question. Yes, you can write it in decimal as well. In the marking scheme, they usually do write until and unless they specifically limit you by saying fractions, your lowest fraction, right? You can write it in any form like this. As it is, simplified form, decimal form, आपकी मर्जी. Question 11. Now, Maya builds special. Okay. Yes, you're right. Yes. Okay. So, in her garden, in the shape of a cylinder with radius 2 meters and the height of 0.08 meter. Now, this is made up of concrete. It's in cylindrical shape, like this. like this cylindrical shape. I'm just drawing the shape just to have an idea because they haven't drawn anything. So calculate the mass of the concrete used to build the patio. Density is equal to mass divided by volume. The formula is given to you. So all you have to do is just figure out the mass. Density is equal to mass. So density is given to us. Calculate the mass of the concrete. So this is required, this is given, this is missing. So first figure out the missing part. That will be the volume of cylinder. Pi r square h. Okay. They have given us that the radius is 2 meters. The height is 0.08. So this shape doesn't look like the one described. Okay. I made the height more. It's just a random drawing. So pi 2 square and 0.08. So we have, now use the value of pi as it is. Pi times 4 times 0.0. That would be 1.00351. Take as many decimal places as you can, and you can just round off the final answer. So this is your answer for in meter cube. I can use this answer in place of volume. We have the density. The density is 2500. Mass can be figured out from here. Volume is given. The mass is times 2500. So 253, 251.13.3. So you can answer it as 2513 as well, or as it is. A 4-mark question, do not skip steps over here. Right. Switch on your cameras, which फिर बंद हो जाते हैं आप लोगों के cameras. Switch it on. Be quick and wait. Okay. Maya wants to put tiles on the surface of a patio. As shown on the diagram, each tile is a sector with an arc length of 75 centimeters, right? Explain why the tiles do not fit exactly on the surface, right? So, हम लोगों ने पहले figure out करना है, and we have to give proper reason for that. Okay, in terms of calculation, because we have a 3-mark question over here. So, हमने पहले क्या करना है? Let's figure out the arc length. She wants to put tiles on the surface, right? As shown on the diagram. Each tile is a sector with an arc. Okay. This is the hole, circular, and this over here is representing the tile, right? So with an arc length of 75. So arc length of 75 is given to us. I can figure out the angle from. So that should be arc length is equal to theta over 360 into 2 pi r. That's your formula for arc length. So 75 theta over 360 into 2 pi r. So we have theta is equal to 75 times 360 divided by 2 shift pi times r. What is r? We have r. Yes. See, they haven't mentioned the radius. What they have done over here is they have given you this 2 meters in the part above over there. That's time. Did we do something wrong over here? I guess, wait, 75. I should use the regular calculator. This gets stuck. 25, this one, divided by 4 times pi. Oh, my bad. It's a 2 meter and 75 centimeters. Good, that's fine. So I can convert this meters into centimeters. So we have 1 meter will have 100 centimeters. Now it's fine. So divided by 100. 21.485. So theta is 21.486. Right? This is the value of theta. Now, area of the surface. This, the area of the surface of the parachute. Is it the area of the circle as well? Can I say that? It's the same as the area of circle. Yeah. So surface area of the hole over here will be pi r square. So this should be pi into 200 square. So we have 125663.71. Right? This is the surface area of the hole. And the area of the sector, we can figure out using the angle now. Area of sector is 21.486 over 360 into pi r square. Okay. So this should be 6 divided by 360 times pi times 200 square. So we have 7,500 centimeters square. Now what we can do is to figure out if it is going to fit exactly, I can divide both of these, right? The area of sector and the surface area of the ratio. If they completely divide, we have a whole number, right? Then we can say that it is going to fit completely, right? But if it doesn't, then we can say that it does not fits completely. So number of sectors needed to cover, writing the whole statement so that you understand, to cover the surface area will be 125 663.71 divided by 7500. And we can figure out if it's fitting completely or not. So 125,663.71 divided by the answer, we have 16.75 So you can see it's not fitting completely, right? So this means it does not fits exactly. Through the calculation, you can explain it like this. Okay. Now, okay. Question number 12. Find all the integer values of x that satisfies the inequality. So all you have to do is just solve it like it is. You split it right into two different. So we have this part. The center goes with both. 6, 3x is greater than equal to, and 3x is less than 6. So we have minus 2 is less than equal to x, and x is less than 2. So we have an inequality over here that x is greater than equal to -2, but x is less than 2. Now, all those integers which satisfy this are, let me draw it on the number line for you as well. This is -2, and this is, let's say, 2. So the integer -2 is included along with -1, 1, sorry, 0, 1, 1, and then we have 2. But 2 is not included. They haven't restricted us to show a number line, but I'm just showing it for the sake of explanation. So -2, -1, 0, and 1. All these integers will satisfy this inequality. The speed time graph shows the first 10 seconds for the car's journey. The car's journey of right. It's a speed time graph. By drawing a tangent, estimate the gradient of the curve at t is equal to 2. The gradient at t is equal to 2. Whenever we are dealing with a curve and we see at a specific point, we have to calculate the gradient. Right? Because curve के ऊपर the gradients keep on changing. So that is why at t is equal to 2, we have to go towards the graph and draw a tangent over here. So tangent is a line touching this at a specific point, at this specific point. So let's say this is, let me rearrange it a bit. Okay, this is fine. What you can notice about a tangent is that from the point which they are talking about, look at this immediate spacing. Is it somehow equal? If it's somehow equal, then your tangent is fine. So I'm going to select two values, one to the left of this line. So let's say we are selecting this point over here, which is 1.2, 0 and 1.2. And the other point, let's say we are selecting over here. This is 5 and 4. Okay. Now, gradient will be y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. x1, y1, x2, y2. So y2 over here is 4 minus 1.2 divided by 5 minus 0. So we have divided by 5. So we have 0.56. And let me see the range. 0.3 to 0.8 is the range given to you. Okay. My value is 0.56. The range given to you is 0.3 to 0.8, a very generous range, right? So 0.3 to 0.8. If your value is between this, that's well and good, right? Now write down what the gradient of the curve represent in terms of the car's motion for the first 10 seconds, right? So is this gradient, as we have discussed before, in a speed time graph, a gradient represents kya? Anyone? In a speed time graph, this gradient represents
The area under the graph.
Are you sure? In a speed time graph, the gradient
Acceleration.
represents acceleration or deceleration. Okay, two things: acceleration or deceleration. Left to right, keep this rule in your mind. Left to right, up, acceleration, down, deceleration. Just as the gradient. Yes, Ismail, ask. So it is representing क्या कह रहे हो? Yes. Ismail, which I can't hear you properly.
ए पार्ट के लिए यूनिट लिखेंगे
A part के लिए unit नहीं. That's fine. You don't need to. Okay. They are just talking about the gradient. Question number 14. The table shows the distance traveled by 80 people to a shopping mall. Calculate the estimate of the mean distance traveled. Mean distance traveled. So mean distance traveled will be, again we can use the same. हमारे पास एक formula है mean के लिए whenever we are dealing with a frequency table. Sum of fx or sum of f. So over here, just writing it again so that you people don't get confused. Whenever we are dealing with a continuous data, range की form में इस तरह class intervals हो आपके पास, right? Then if they ask you about mean, you have to work out the midpoint. Okay? आपने तब midpoint निकालना होता है. Upper limit plus lower limit divided by 2. And if they are talking about in the same range form of values, continuous data जिसको हम कहते हैं, histogram के बारे में. If they ask you about histogram, you will refer to class width. Don't confuse both of them. It's a very common misconception, right? So यहाँ पे क्योंकि they are asking about mean, so I'm going to figure out the midpoint, which will be representing the value of x. So 5 plus 0 divided by 2, 2.5. This one should be 7.5. This one should be 15. This one should be 35. Now, this is x, this is f. So fx, I have another row for that. So 2.5 times 35, which should be 87.5. Then 20 times 7.5, that's 150. 15 times 14, I guess 210. 15 times 14, it's 210. Yes. And 35 times 11, we have 380. Sum all these up, and 87.5 plus 150 plus 210 plus 385, we have this value over here, 832.5, divided by the sum of all frequencies, which is already given, 80. So divided by 80. That should be 10.4. 10.4, 10.41. That's your answer. Now, the diagram shows the triangle A and triangle B. Describe fully the transformation that maps triangle A onto triangle B. किस तरह की transformation लग रही है? Eba? So what kind of transformation does it look like?
Rotation.
Rotation? Yes?
Yes.
Good. It's rotation. Sometimes students can get confused about rotation and reflection. So for that, I've already explained. Join the corresponding vertices. Right? If the lines intersect, इस तरह यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं, okay? If the lines intersect or they are not parallel lines, then it's a rotation. If they are parallel, then it's reflection. So we are dealing with rotation. Let's write that. Rotation. Now, they are saying that maps triangle A onto triangle B. So this is the object and this is the image. Object and image. So let me mark the vertices A, B, C, and this should be A prime, B prime, C. Okay, the rotated object points. Now, to figure out the rotation, the first thing we have to figure out is the center of rotation. Because if I don't have the center of rotation, I can't figure out in which direction will this image move, right? So for center of rotation, as we have earlier discussed as well, you draw two perpendicular bisectors from corresponding points. For the center of rotation, two perpendicular bisectors from corresponding points. Where they intersect, that is the center. Okay, so let's say we have these 2 points. Now, perpendicular bisector, you can use the compass as I've shown it to you people in the class as well. So join the two corresponding points. Now the perpendicular bisector of these 2 points, right? I can see we have how many boxes? 1, 2, 3. Or you can place a ruler like this. So you have both the ways, compass or the ruler. Perpendicular bisector का क्या मतलब होता है? It is the midpoint of it, right? So if this distance is 4, then we have 2 over here where I have to draw a perpendicular line. Okay, at this point. A perpendicular line passing through this line, right? 90 degrees बना रहा हूँ इस तरह से. If you use a compass, that will be better. की चीज now which got disconnected. My bad. Can you hear me now? Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So even if your line is a bit off, थोड़ा सा वो नीचे आ रहा हो, then select the integer points, right? So I have drawn this perpendicular bisector of A and A prime. Let's do another one. This one, B and B prime, or let's say C and C prime कर लेते हैं. Your choice. Perpendicular bisector of this line. So let me use a ruler. I'm using a ruler. I've already taught two people how to use a compass. Okay, so it's 7.2. Should be 3.6. So this point, I've marked it like this. So a perpendicular bisector which cuts this at 90 degrees should be drawn like this. Okay. Now I have drawn it roughly, right? मैंने roughly बनाया. I've shown you the way to use a compass. That is a more accurate method. But still, can you see मेरे ये जो perpendicular bisectors मैंने बनाए हैं, where is it, which integer point is it the nearest to? Nearest to which integer points? Can somebody tell me? This point of intersection is nearest to which integer points? The closest. Which one?
2 and 1.
2 and 1. That's your center. That's it. Okay. So the compass method is more accurate. If you use the ruler, well and good, no issue. कोई मसला नहीं. Just if your lines fall short of the integer point, just select the integer points. Okay, the closest one. So this is your center. Now, to verify it, you can also see that if I join, this is the center now. If I join the vertices of the corresponding points, right? So let's say this and this. This A to the center, this A to the center. That's the object, that's the image. To move from objects towards the image, you can see the angle is 90 degrees. And what is the direction? Is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Is the angle,
Clockwise.
is the direction clockwise or anti-clockwise? So 90 degrees clockwise. That's it. Is there anyone who like struggled with this one? Can't understand what we have done over here? No? Okay, let's move on. Question 16. Sketch the graph of each function. Sketch. In a sketch, we just have to figure out the major points, okay? Like the intercepts, y-intercept, x-intercept, turning points वगैरह इस तरह करके ये मोटी-मोटी चीजों को देखना होता है. You have to figure that out. Now, y is equal to x minus 3. What kind of a graph should I get? Should it be a U shape, N shape, a cubic graph, या कुछ और? Yes. What kind of a graph should I get? Isn't it a linear equation? Yes. Rafi?
Yes.
Okay. It's a linear equation. So this will be the y-intercept. इसका मतलब आपका y-intercept जो होगा, it's not over here. It's a negative value on the y. So it must be somewhere over here. Let's say this is minus 3. Randomly मैंने बनाया, right? And is the gradient positive? Yes. So it will be moving from left to right upwards. And if I want to figure out the x-intercept, I can put the value of y0 when y is equal to 0. That should be 0, x minus 3. So x is equal to 3. The value of x is positive. So let's say it's over here. Just draw a line like this. You don't have to be accurate about it. Okay. So for a sketch, I will suggest draw a line if you can figure it out and then mark the values. This one we have already studied. It will be avoiding the x-axis and the y-axis, asymptotes, like this. Question number 17. We have an insect population decreases at a rate of 12% per year. The insect population on 1st January 2022 is 3.7 million. Calculate the number of complete years it will take for the insect population to first fall below 1 million. Okay, so again, a hit and trial method जो हम लोगों ने जिसकी बात की थी. Yes, Ismail, ask.
आप दोबारा आंसर दिखा सकते हैं पिछला वाला?
Sure. You know. मेरी आवाज में लैग तो नहीं आ रहा? Is my voice fine? Javeria बच्चे, why are you so late?
Sir, I was in school.
स्कूल वाले अभी भी जाने छोड़ रहे हैं. Okay. A T 1 minus R over 100 whole power n. For compound interest, let me tell you this again. मुझे explain करना थोड़ा पड़ता है इसलिए I will take some time. For those who keep on, they can, or they have attempted this question, they can keep on moving. Right? For compound interest, and exponential growth, we have a formula. A is equal to P 1 plus R over 100. Okay, where A is the final value, P is the initial amount, principal amount, invested amount. Okay, R is the rate. But if they are talking about depreciation, okay, yeah, decrease, exponential decay, or decrease, then we are going to use the same formula but with the negative sign. Right? हम यही फॉर्मूला यूज करेंगे लेकिन नेगेटिव साइन, ये जो मल्टीप्लायर होगा यहाँ पे हमारा नेगेटिव साइन. सो A is equal to P 1 minus R over 100 whole power. Same formula with the negative sign. So in this question, they are talking about decrease. So I'm going to use this formula, but the rate is given to us. The insect population on 1st January 2022 is given. So that means this over here is the initial value. और आपकी जो final value होगी, because of the decrease, it should be lesser. How much? They're saying कि it should fall below 1 million. So I have to use the hit and trial method and see that when is the value going to fall below 1 million. So let's start with, let's say 5. When n is equal to 5, when the number of years, the time period is 5, A is equal to initial value is a greater value times 1 minus 12 over 100 whole power 5. Okay. Is that clear? So I'm randomly using number of years 5. I just want to see. So this will be 37,100,000. Sorry, 3.7 million times 1 minus 0.12 whole power whole power 5. So we have 1 9. It's way beyond 1 million. Okay. So I have to use several more years, right? Directly jump to number of years 10. Now you don't need to write this again and again. You can directly write it like this. A is equal to, and just do it on your calculator. 3700 37000 times 1 minus 0.12 whole power 10. Now you can see it's coming down a bit, right? अब थोड़ा नजदीक आ रहा है. It is A is 103,0453.61. So it is closer to 1 million. Let's say n is equal to 11. 11 पे देख लेते हैं. तब हमारी फाइनल वैल्यू क्या आ रही है? So 37 times 1 minus 0.12 whole power 11. And you can see it fell below 1 million. So complete years कितने लगे उसको? Yes, how many years? How many complete years? Yes, Rehan, ask.
Sir, I have a question.
Ask.
Sir, if we were using simple interest, and sir, what would be the formula? If it was the question regarding to decay.
No, a simple interest will not, because हमारे पास decay जो होता है ना बच्चे, that is exponential. Exponential का मतलब पता है? जब पावर में कोई चीज आती है, okay? तो उसकी जो स्पीड होती है वो तेज होती है, right? Is that clear? A simple interest cannot represent that. An exponential growth and an exponential decay will be represented by this formula. Okay? A simple
Okay.
interest can't. Is that clear? That is why I've written compound interest के लिए exponential growth, and exponential growth के लिए हम ये formula use करते हैं. Depreciation, exponential decay, decrease के लिए हम ये वाला formula use करते हैं. Okay? Now, question number 18. We have y is inversely proportional to the cube root of x. Cube root of x. Be very careful whenever the relation is made like this. Sometimes the student just miss out. Make it a cube. It's a cube root. So read your question properly. Turn it into an equation. So there is multiplication of k constant like this. Now use one set of given information, y and x key. So 2.5 k over cube root of 8. Now we know that cube root of 8 will be 2, right? So 2 times 2.5 is 5. So your final equation is y is equal to 5 over cube root of 3. Sorry, cube root of x. And now, which value do I have to find? We have to find the value of y when x is 64. So let's just plug it in. Y is equal to 5 over cube root of 64. And we know that cube root of 64 is 4. So 5 by 4 is 1.25. Okay. Next, question number 19. And this is related to trigonometry. Let's do this. We have a few questions left. Okay, ABCD is a quadrilateral with AB 500 meter. BC is given over here. DA is given. Calculate DB. And let me highlight it. DB. Where is it? This one. So it is part of this triangle and it is part of this triangle. Now I have to see which triangle I can use. I can use the above triangle. Which formula should I use? Javiria? Should I use Pythagoras theorem?
No.
Okay, what should I use?
Cosine.
Cosine rule. We have two conditions. One for sine, we have two cases which we can use, sine rule, cosine rule. Over here, we don't have a complete pair. So I will refer to cosine rule. And cosine rule, we have two conditions. The first one, all sides are given, side, side, side. Second is side, angle, side, next to each other. Side, side, angle, between. Okay. So we can use cosine rule. That would be dv squared is equal to the next two sides, the other two sides, add them and square them, minus 2 times the same two sides, cos of the angle opposite to the missing side, which is 135. This formula is given in your formula sheet. The other rearranged formula, if you remember it, well and good. Otherwise, you can always refer to this one. So dB is under root of, let's figure this out. So we have 350 square plus 500 square minus 2 times 350 times 500 times cos of 135. So we have 619987.37, right? And now take the under root and plug in the answer key. You will get the exact value. If you use it like this, using the answer key, your answer will be more accurate. So 787.4. Okay. 787. Also fine. Calculate the obtuse angle BCD. So angle BCD, where is BCD? B, C, and D. This over here. Now that I have this 787.4, I can use the sine rule. Why? Because हमारे पास we have one complete pair of opposite angle and side, and one half pair. So the complete pair over here is 52 degrees and 650. And the half one is BCD and 787.4. So I can use this sine BCD divided by 787.4. Now you can use both the variant of both formula variants in which the angle is in the numerator, and when the side is missing, you put the side in. Both of them are rearranged versions of one another. So sine BCD is equal to sine inverse of 787.4 times sine 52. Don't do it the other way around. अगर आप लोगों ने इस तरीके से कर दिया कैलकुलेटर के अंदर, that will be considered wrong. So be careful with this. This is not correct. You put the number before the sign, otherwise the calculator will read it in another way. It will multiply 52 with 787.4. Okay? That will be wrong. Divided by 6. So let's do this. 787.4 times sine 52 divided by 650 and take sine inverse of that. Shift sine inverse answer. We have 72.67. So BCD is 72.67. Now, looking at this, obviously this is not an obtuse angle. So whenever they are asking you about obtuse angle, that will be, you subtract the same angle from 180. So 180 minus 72.67. That is an acute angle, but the answer for this one will be obtuse. 107.3. Got it? That's your answer. Show complete working. 4-mark question. Don't lose your marks. Okay, next. We have another question. Shanti travels 12 kilometers from home to school. She travels at an average speed of x kilometer per hour. Write down an expression in terms of x for the time taken in minutes for Shanti to travel from home to school. So, from home to school. Whenever we have such kind of information, it's always better to draw it out. Okay, I don't want to. Sometimes you just get bored by looking at the words, right? You just draw it out like this. Home, and this is the school. Shanti travels 12 kilometers from home to school. So the distance between them is 12 kilometers, right? Okay. Write an expression in terms of x for the time taken in minutes for Shanti to travel from home to school. And she is traveling at an average speed of x kilometers per hour. This is from home to school, right? Okay. Speed towards the school, that is x kilometers per hour. We have the formula. Speed is equal to distance over time. The rearranged version, distance is equal to speed times, and time is equal to distance over speed. Okay. Now, to figure out the time in minutes, what we have to do is 12,000 kilometers, right? The distance, we have to use time is equal to. Okay, let's do one thing. First, let's figure out the speed, right? The speed is x kilometer per hour, and they need the time in minutes. Okay. So what we can do is we can figure out this in minutes per hour, right? The speed in minutes per hour. So x over r, that is if I times it by 1,000 and times this by 60, we get into minutes. So 50 over 3 minutes, meter per minutes, right? Now we have 12,000. Time is equal to distance divided by speed. So distance is 12,000 meters divided by 50 over 3. Okay. I can use a calculator. 12,000. Oh, we have to write an expression. Don't use a calculator. You have to write an expression. 12,000 times 3 over 50. You can simplify it. This 1200 by 5. That is 240, and 240 times 3 is 720. So 720 over x. Okay. 720 over x. Is that clear? Is that clear? Amar? Yes or no? Did you get it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, Felix traveled 12 kilometers from home to school. He travels at an average speed that is 20 kilometers per hour, slower than Shanti's average speed. So this one is 20 kilometers per hour, slower than Shanti's average speed. Write down an expression in terms of x for the time taken in minutes for Felix to travel from home to school. Okay, this is another person. That was Shanti's speed. This is Felix. And what is that? X minus 20 kilometer per hour. Okay. X minus 20 kilometer per hour. Right. So all we have to do is write down an expression in terms of X for the time taken in minutes for Felix to travel from home to school. Okay. So again, we have the same thing. This time we know that the distance will be 720 in terms of meters. So this should be directly written as 720 over x minus 20. Right, like this. Is that clear? Rafi? Hiba? Yes, Hiba, Bache? Is that clear?
Yes.
Okay. Now, Felix takes 15 minutes longer to travel from home to school than Shanti. Now, this is where we have to make an equation. Felix takes 15 minutes longer to travel from home to school than Shanti. So the time of Felix, this is Felix time, and this is Shanti's time. What should I do? How can I make an equation out of it? Zara, what kind of an equation can I make? Yes, Zara?
You can apply the formula.
Okay, which formula?
Wait, not the formula. You can subtract the equations. Like you can subtract 720 by x from 720 by x minus 20.
Yes, I can do that. But tell me, who is taking more time to reach?
Um,
Who is slower?
Felix.
So should that the bigger value be subtracted from the smaller?
Yes.
So whose value is bigger? If Felix is slower, that means the time he's taking to reach there. Isn't that a bigger value? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So I will do the time taken by Felix minus the time taken by Shanti. And that should be the difference between them is 15 minutes. Okay. You can do the same version. If somebody is saying a time of Felix is 15 plus times of time of Shanti, that is also fine. That's just a rearranged version of this equation. So plugging in the values, this should be 720 over x minus 20 minus 720 over x and is equal to 15. Work it out. The denominator is same. X times x minus 20 is equal to 15. This should be 720x. This should be 720x plus 720 okay 720 yes which मैंने directly कर दिया Okay, should I do it like this? ठीक है. Minus 720 times x minus 20. ठीक है? So this will be 720x minus 720x plus 720 times 20 is 14400. And यहाँ भी मैं directly करने वाला हूँ. This should be 15x square minus 15 times 20 is 300x. Rearrange everything. This should be 15x square, taking everything to the right side, right? So we can cancel this out. We have minus 300x minus 14,400. Now, it's still not matching the given equation, so that means I have to divide it by something. Let's divide the whole equation by 15. So this is x squared minus 20x and 14,400 divided by 15 is 960. So over here you can see it matches the equation. That was all. It's a 4-mark question. Show proper steps. Okay. Solve the equation, this one. Now, sometimes what happens is during the exam, Ismail, मुझे screen नजर आ रही? Yes, Manur?
Yes, sir.
I guess most of the students thought I ended the class. Okay. Now, I was doing this question, and without you people, I didn't even realize. Question number 21. I plotted this. Do you have a graph paper? Yes. Ismail, do bache. Send it to me. Share your graph with me. Manur, do you have a graph paper?
Yes.
Okay, share it with me, Vishay. Let me see. Good. Ismail, well done. So this is what I was discussing without you people. Equation of graph, equation of line, comparison equation. We have to match the left-hand side, right-hand side, and derive an equation of line. The difference between these two equation, comparison equation and equation of graph, will lead us to equation of line, right? So when I drew the line, it is cutting the graph at 3 points, and these are the coordinates. These are the points, the ranges your value should be within it, right? Question number 2. The length of a pencil is given as 16 centimeter, correct to the nearest centimeter. So our accuracy is 1 and our error is 0.5 centimeters. Then for this one, for the length of a pen, the accuracy is 1 millimeter and error is 0.5 millimeter. Okay. So this should be, I can convert this into the error to centimeters as well, dividing it by 10, so that I can use it, because I have to use the same units. You can see the answer is in centimeters, right? So first figure it out. Let's derive a formula, the difference between the length of pencil and the length of pen. Okay, so length of pencil minus length of pen. They are asking us for the upper bound. So for that, the positive value should have an upper bound, the negative value should have a lower bound, right? So difference, the length of pencil, that should be 16 plus 0.5, and minus, this should be 14.7 minus 0.05. So this should be 1.85. I guess I have to get rid of that calculator, the one I'm using. Because of that, the screen was stuck, I guess, today. Okay, expand and simplify. This over here. So we have x, first expand the two brackets, and then you can multiply it with the third one. So we have x times 4x plus 1 and minus 2 times 4x plus 1. And keep the other one outside, x minus 1. Or you can do these two and then x minus 2, your choice. So this should be 4x squared plus x minus 8x minus 2. Now I'm going to multiply it with this. So we have 4x cubed minus 20x squared plus 20x squared. Okay, okay. This I'm going to simplify and directly write it as minus 7x. Okay, minus 7x. So minus 7x squared plus 35x minus 2x plus 10. Now 4x cubed minus 27x squared plus 33x plus 10. There are a lot of chances you make mistakes rearranging like terms, rearranging variables. Okay, so be careful with that. Next, question number 24, and I guess that's the last one. No, uske baad ek aur hai. So question number 24, that should be, write down the number of planes of symmetry of the pyramid. Planes of symmetry, we have, जैसे line of symmetry होती है, plane of symmetry will split the shape plane, a 2D shape, which splits the 3D shape equally into equal halves. So this is, because we are dealing with the rectangle over here, we have one like this, we have one like this, planes, all the corners. This is going to split the shape equally. So 2, we have a third like that. Okay. 1 over here, the second over there, third over here. And the fourth from this side, right? So we have 4 planes of symmetry like this. 4 planes of symmetry. मैं दोबारा से बता दूं, a 2D shape which is going to split a 3D shape into 2 equal halves. Yes, Ismail, ask. Yes, Ismail, ask.
इसको देखकर ही हमें डिटरमिन करना है।
क्या बच्चे दोबारा बताओ?
ये हमेशा हमने बेस को देखकर ही डिटरमिन करना है कि कितनी है।
डिपेंडिंग ऑन कि किस तरह की शेप के साथ डील कर रहे हो आप, राइट? जरूरी नहीं अगर आप सिलेंडर के साथ डील कर रहे हो तो सिलेंडर की किस तरह हो, क्रॉस सेक्शन उसका आपने हमने डिस्कस किया था ना? यस, हाँ. So it totally depends on the shape. Show that EF is equal to 14.3 correct to 1 decimeter. So हमने show करना है, इसी को use नहीं करना. So to show that EF, where is EF? This one. इसको हमने show करना है कि इसकी length 14.3 है. For this I need first, let's figure this one out. AC. पहले ये निकाल लेते हैं. And because that will be the center, we can split it. So first let's look at that one. AC square. AC is a hypotenuse. This triangle, 8 square plus 12 square. So AC is equal to under root of 64 plus 144. I'm not going to use that calculator because the screen gets stuck. Plus 144. It's you can under root of this 14.422. That is the length of AC. Now, if I divide it by 2, I can figure out the length of FC. Okay, so FC is going to be, divide this length by 2. So divide by 2, we have 7.21. 7.21. Now that we have for this triangle, we have the base as 7.21. We need to find the height, and we have this as 60. So I can use again Pythagoras theorem. But this time I'm going to rearrange EF square. So that means the hypotenuse square minus FC square. So EF should be under root of 16 square minus 7.21 square. What should that be? That should be EF is equal to 14.3 to 1 decimeters. Okay. Next, calculate the angle between EC and the base ABCD. EC and the base, so let me highlight it, EC and the base ABC. Okay. See that? EC and the base. So you can clearly see that they are talking about this end. And for this one, I have the length of EF now, right? So I can use it. Again, we are dealing with the right angle triangle. This is EF. This is the angle they are talking about. See? Okay. And this is 90 degrees. So let's say this is X, this is 14.3, and this is 7.21. I can use the trigonometric ratios, opposite over adjacent. So tan X is equal to 14.3 over 7.21. So X is equal to 14.3 divided by 7.21, and take the tan inverse of that, and your answer should be 63.2. Okay, 63 point. The last question for today. We have the diagram shows a hole in the shape of frustum. Calculate the volume of the hole. So obviously we have discussed earlier as well that when we are talking about frustum, a frustum is a shape so a frustum is a shape like this, in which, for example, this is the cone. It's a cone like this. And they have excluded a cone, a smaller cone, from this shape. Okay. For example, they have excluded this smaller cone out of this shape. Okay. So I can say that we have excluded a smaller cone from the larger cone. Just for explanation purpose. So what have they done? They have frustum as a shape in which we have a bigger cone like this, and a smaller cone is a similar smaller cone is taken out of that shape. So they have taken out of this shape, and you got a frustum. Now let's see. Let me label it. We have a radius of the bigger cone as 8 centimeters. Okay, we don't know the height of it, so let's say capital H. Okay. And this over here, the cone they have removed, the radius of that is 6 centimeters, and the height of this is, let's say, small h. Now, whenever we are dealing with similar shapes, you can see this smaller cone is part of this cone, so they are similar in case. Now, a similar shape, one shape is smaller or larger according to a specific, a constant value, right? So let me write it first. The larger cone and the smaller cone are similar. When they are similar, that means their ratio of corresponding sides will be equal. Are equal. Okay. Now, they are asking us to calculate the volume of the bowl. For that, we have to make, first of all, the formula, and then we see what is missing so that we can complete that information. Looking at it, we already know, but let's see. Volume of first is volume of the bigger cone. So in the bigger cone, you can clearly see that capital H is missing, and volume of the smaller cone. In the smaller cone, you can say that it's the smaller cone, smaller height. Okay. Now, looking at this, we have the ratio of corresponding sides are equal. Okay. So if the ratio over here, if we compare the radiuses, right? So I can say the radius of the bigger one over the radius of the smaller one, corresponding sides, right, will give us the scale factor. What is a scale factor? Scale factor, it tells us by how much a shape is enlarged or by how much a shape has shrunk, right? So that will be 8 by 6. That means 4 by 3. So the bigger, they have a ratio, right? The radius of the bigger cone is 4, and the ratio for the smaller cone is 3. So the ratio of bigger radius, okay, I'm putting in a large and S over here. So the radius of the bigger cone and the radius of the smaller cone have a ratio 4:3. Now I can use this ratio to figure out anything over here, any part of it. Why? Because the larger cone and the smaller cone are similar. Their ratio of corresponding sides will be equal. So that means their height will also be in the same ratio. Which ratio? Their height will also be the height of the larger cone ratio the height of the smaller cone. They are also in the ratio 4:3. Why? Because they are similar. See, this is the concept of similarity. Now, over here, we don't have the smaller cone height. We don't have the larger cone height, but we have the difference between. Do we have the difference? Yes. Do we have the difference over here? The difference in height. Do we have that, Manur? Yes or no?
Yes.
What is the difference in height?
1.
Not the ratio, but of the uh, actual height. No idea? The
No.
height of the bigger cone minus the height of the smaller cone. Isn't it this?
Yes.
You know? So height of bigger cone, larger cone, minus height of smaller cone is 9 centimeters. The difference is already given to us, right? And the difference in ratio over here is 1. The difference in ratio is 1. Okay. So that means one part is representing how many centimeters? Yes, Manu? One
9.
part is 9. Good, well done. So one part is representing 9 centimeters. So that means 3 parts will be representing how many?
27.
27. So then this is X. And what about 4 parts? That should be 4 parts should be representing how much?
36.
If one is representing 9 centimeters, 4 will be representing
36.
4 times 9 is 36. You were saying 86 or 36?
736 is that one.
Acha, I thought you were saying 86. See? So we got the heights. Now can we find out the volume? Yes. It's 1 by 3 pi r square h minus 1 by 3 pi r square h. So this will be 1 by 3 pi. R is, what was 8 square. The height we just got for the larger cone, that is 36 minus 1 by 3 pi r square, which is 6. Yes. And each is 27. So work it out. Karo zara. Let me do it as well. 64 times 36 times pi divided by 3. We have 2, 4, 1, 2. Minus 36 times 27 times pi divided by 3, 101. 1017.876. Subtracted from that one, minus answer, we have 139.87 centimeter cube. Okay, that's your answer. Is there anything you didn't understand? Ismail, Mahur, कोई चीज है जो कि नहीं समझ आई इस क्वेश्चन में?
No, sir.
Okay, well done. So that was it. Yes, Ismail, ask.
क्लास में नोट्स है
किसके?